Lights, camera, action.
You are now listening to the Onboard podcast with Morgan and Ashley,
Where we make boredom look good.
What's up, Onboard Nation? We are here with Lukewarm Takes. This is the Valentine's Day episode. If you don't follow these phenoms, these two boys that are taking the internet by storm with their hot takes on everything from life to dating to girls, they're giving the male opinion out, and we've got them today. We're so excited. Welcome, boys.
What's up? Thank you for having us. We're quite excited to be here. I feel like we're gonna dive into I'm scared. Happens to that discussion for Valentine's Day.
Yeah, buckle up for sure. So tell our listeners how you guys got started, how long you guys have been friends. Like, walk us through it.
What you want? All right, I'll jump into it. So Cam and I met freshman year of college. We both went to Penn State. We had mutual friends. And when I first met Cam, and I know he'll say the exact same thing, we both hated each other. Yeah. Not like each other at all.
Really?
We just didn't know each other, to be fair. And then we ended up rushing the same fraternity.
What fraternity?
We were in Pi Kappa Alpha at
we're
Penn
in
State.
Pi Sig.
Pi Sig. That's but we ended up rushing together. He became a prominent position in our class, and then still didn't really get along. Summer came around our freshman year, and we played a lot of video games because that was COVID summer. So we couldn't really do anything. We became semi-close there. Then we had a class our sophomore year, and it was a 750-person lecture, and everything was recorded, and the professor had like 7 different cameras in there. He was on Fox, he was on CNN, he was always getting in trouble. Yeah. And Cam and I would sit in the second row, and we would always just try to engage with the guy. And at the time, I was going through a little bit of a relationship turmoil, and so every day after class we would go. It was Tuesdays and Thursdays, I think, and we would go get McDonald's, and we would sit down, we would talk. Yep. We would eat shitty food, and excuse my language, but we would eat bad food, and we would always say, like, hey, if we could just record the conversations that we have while we go back and forth, I think people would enjoy hearing it.
I love that.
Here we are. Yep. A couple of years later.
Mm-hmm. I feel like that's a little bit like us. Like,
yeah,
we'd always say, if someone could be recording us, like, this would be hysterical.
Yeah. And people came to us and they were like, because our lives are so insane. We both travel and do a bunch of stuff and are well connected. And people were like, why don't you guys like put this on vlog? Like, why don't you? We were like, oh, that's what the kids are doing these.
Here we go.
So what was the beginning for you guys? What was that first step towards content creation?
So we were content creators individually. Yeah. I'm a former NFL cheerleader, former pageant girl, model, and Morgan has
actress, dancer.
Yeah, she's like the mayor of the DMV. Like, she's one of those people you go out and you're like almost annoyed. You're like, Jesus Christ. Like, everyone, it's like
knows everybody. Yeah.
And I'm kind of like Larry David, where like I hate to stop and chat. So like, we're 2 peas in a pod, but I had come up with the idea for us to do a podcast, 2 years ago. And then we actually filmed an entire season and lost the footage.
There you go.
Like, lost the SD card.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. It was an absolute nightmare. And then we tabled it. And then I went through a breakup last spring that was really salacious, and I was like, well, you know what, bitch, here's our content. Sure. Like I'm like, you know what, like, let's make money off my pain.
Right.
That's literally exactly where I went with it too. I was like,
people are nosy as hell, so like we literally, each episode was like more and more
people, and then we finished out our first season with 25,000 listeners. And so we've just kind of been doing it ever since. And, you know, it's the Onboard podcast, the podcast you listen to when you're bored.
Morgan, can I ask a question?
Me?
I'm assuming whenever Ashley was going through this breakup, were you like the friend therapist that like she came to you with everything? Like you guys were always talking about it?
No, I mean, I feel like she's not one of those people that's like weepy and like, oh God, my life. So like, yes, I am the therapist, but like, I don't think she needed a ton of that, if that makes sense.
I'm
like,
kind of like, let's go spend a month in Europe. It'll cure whatever ails me. Kind of thing.
we did.
So we did. So we fucked off.
days.
We fucked off in June to Italy and Monaco, and just were like, and I was like, what better way to get over a boy than Europe boys?
To be fair, I think you were spot on with that one.
Did you find love in Europe or no? Are we still working on it?
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
I found pasta. I found a higher size in my jeans from eating all said pasta.
We found fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
We found fun.
It was debauchersome for sure.
That's exactly what post-breakup life should look like.
Exactly.
100%.
Exactly.
So I am obsessed with your content. Our group chat shares your stuff all the time. I reached out to Cam and I was like, I love your stuff.
Yeah.
I love it. Your book talk thing, so spot on. You're hilarious.
Yeah.
What are your favorite videos you've made to date, and what has gotten like the most responses?
You know what's funny? And I always joke about this with Nita. Like, the favorite videos we record are usually the ones that like do the worst.
I would agree with you.
Yeah. Always like, it's like the dumbest little videos we make that like I just love. And it's like, for some reason, I don't know, like we like after making these videos for so long, we've like come up to the realization that it's like, you just never know what videos are going to pop up. Like some videos you're like, oh, this is going to do so well. And ends up getting like no engagement. And some videos you're like, oh, this was terrible. And then we post, like when we did the Good Girls video, that was like, we made that video after screaming at each other for 3 hours straight. Like we were in like a crazy fight. Like we were so annoyed with each other. Nino literally just looked at me like after the fight. He was just like, let's just get in the car and just record something. It could be terrible, whatever. Let's just do it. And then we
just need to get content. I don't even want to look at you in. Yeah, it's like I hate you and everything about you right now. But I need to we need to get content out today.
Yeah.
So let's get fucking content out and then not speak to each other.
So we
I just
got in the car, literally like put up the phone, started hit record, and that video ended up doing like what, 2 million views.
Yeah. And the funniest part about that is, so the beautiful thing about our content, the way that we recorded, is we got into the car and I still have every last video that we've ever made like saved. So there is literally like an hour long, like in total, just series of clips of us in the car, like so pissed off at each other. And then we recorded the video, and I remember we didn't talk for the rest of the day. We ended up going to Atlantic City that night.
Oh yeah.
And we went to the casino, and I remember we posted the video and it had like 2,000 likes in the first hour. And I was like, oh, that's a fucking flop. Great. And then I was just like, all right, I'm just going to have fun tonight. I'm going to go gamble, and then I don't care. And I remember I was at the roulette table for like 3 hours, and I just peeked at my phone and I opened up TikTok and I saw the notifications bar at the bottom was just like 99, 99, 99. And I opened the video up and it's at like 600K. And I'm like, what the fuck just happened?
That's wild.
So we were pretty excited about that. And at that point, that was the biggest video we'd ever done.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, let's kick off the episode, Valentine's Day theme. Now that you guys have like let the listeners know, what are your thoughts on Valentine's Day? Love it, hate it, or indifferent?
I fucking hate it. I'll jump off. No, I hate it. I despise Valentine's.
You go first, and I'll tell you why I love it.
I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate it because I look at Valentine's Day as this is just an excuse to dress up and have to take your significant other out, or try to feel pressured to have a significant other. Everybody that doesn't have one fucking hates Valentine's Day. Let's be serious. Yeah. Nobody likes to be the single person on Valentine's Day. It's like that scene in 21 Jump Street where Jonah Hill's sitting at the table and he's like, I'll have the lobster for one person. Only enough for one person. He's just sitting there. He's eating lobster and cake by himself.
It's my thing. This is the way I look at it. I feel like I love doing romantic shit. I love it. I eat that up every time. So my thing is, I treat this like it's my fucking Super Bowl. Like, I
I knew I liked you.
I want to show out, but like, here's my thing. I love the idea of like showing out so hard for your girl that like all of her friends get jealous. You know what I'm saying? Like all of her friends like look at their boyfriends, like what the fuck? Like Cam did, this, and this. Like that. To be fair,
I love
like
that.
thing. This is what people don't understand. It's not like any of it has to be expensive. It's not like you gotta be going like private jet or like helicopter ride around the city. Like, you don't have to do anything crazy. Yes, you do. Yeah, you know. You always do outrageous shit. I do some outrageous shit, but I'm saying in general,
It always has
don't have to do it.
expectation.
No. I'm saying me, but obviously maybe it's a little different. But like I'm saying, the normal person, like if you do just a bunch of very sentimental things, you can literally go above and beyond. And then here's the thing, and we should make a video on this even. It's not about Valentine's Day. It's about post-Valentine's debrief with all of her friends. Because they're all the girls are going to get in a circle, and they're going to be like, well, what did your boyfriend do? What did your boyfriend do? What did your situationship do? Blah, blah, blah. And you have to ensure, as the man, that you come out of there on top of the pyramid.
100.
That just needs to be a clip right there that I send to everyone. Like, that's how it should be. Showing up and showing out.
Okay, most romantic things you both have done for a significant other on Valentine's Day. Go.
Oh,
dude, I don't think I've celebrated Valentine's Day.
Like, she's just lucky I asked.
That's literally like my ex.
Like I
feel like Valentine's Day isn't that crazy. Maybe like most romantic thing ever.
Sure.
Or you want to just do Valentine's Day?
I
I
haven't celebrated Valentine's Day in like 4 years.
The thing I did that, like I said, for any guys listening to this, literally cost no money. I planned in like an hour, and it was like probably one of the best things ever.
I'm rich.
A couple of years ago, I will be honest. So I'm known. I'm a horrible cook. I can't make. I fuck up toast. Like it's just one of those things. I can't do it. I went to the store, and I think for Thanksgiving, I made like a 7-course meal for the girl that I was with at the time.
Oh,
I don't even remember that.
But it was edible?
Sophomore year. Looked everything
and wait, it was edible or no?
It was edible?
Actually, I did pretty well. I had some of my roommates help me. I had a wine tasting, like wine pair. I had like 4.
That's
awesome.
Like
5 and 4.
You're better man than me.
It was one of those things where it's like.
That's great. Like I would love that.
It was the most low key thing. It cost no money, but like it was one of those things that it's like, I mean, people just love that type of stuff because you like showed you put effort into it.
To be fair, I mean, I used to cook. I hate cooking for myself, but I love cooking for other people. So I used to my biggest thing was I used to buy like really, really expensive steaks, like A5 Wagyu. And then I would go over to my girlfriend's place to cook it. So I guess you could put it up there, but it was never like, I don't think I ever really celebrated Valentine's Day, at least not in recent memory.
But what's funny is that this is something I've noticed. It's a trend.
Oh God.
For some reason, a lot of breakups happen around Valentine's Day.
And that's actually, I think that I was alluding to that.
Yeah.
I think
it's not even your fault.
Like my most serious relationship ended, like we broke up briefly during Valentine's Day, both years, I think, and then ended up getting back together after it. So I think that's what
break up right before, or it's like right before you start, right before Valentine's Day, you start dating. Like any girl is like, I just need somebody to spend it with, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then like you see, like, I don't know.
I'm not that girl.
It's not us.
It's not us.
Really?
I mean, I feel like for me, like when I'm with someone, just send me some flowers. I like to go out to dinner, but it doesn't have to be on that actual day.
Yeah. But I also feel like you should date all the time. I used to do this thing called Just Because Wednesday. So just because it's Wednesday, you do something salacious and outlandish, so that you're just always dating and flirting.
Yeah.
But I feel like Valentine's Day, Friday, you're either going to figure out if you're the side piece or the main.
Oh, 1,000%. And I'll tell you right now, every guy needs to get this in their head. And I pray that it's like, it's a sad day for a lot of guys because you're right. This is when you find
It's
out.
guys and girls, though, too.
If there is a scheduling conflict, number one, drop them. Don't even ask. Don't even question anything. So, hey, I'm going to be busy, whatever. Just, all right, you're done. If that happens, you're out. Also, if you do anything for Valentine's Day, guys or girls, say you go to dinner, say, they get you a gift, blah, 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 and there's no, I'm not a big social media poster guy, but if there's no post about nothing, you don't even get a story, you don't get like a thank you, that's your side piece. Sorry. There's someone else in the tank.
We had one girl come on to our live the other day where we do relationship counselors, and she was like, yeah, the guy that I've been talking to, he told me that he has to go on a business trip the day of Valentine's to Arizona.
Yeah.
And then she was like, I think he has like a second family.
Oh my God.
She was like, he's talking, like seemingly he's talking to somebody else. So I would agree, like if there's any kind of scheduling conflict or for some reason they can't celebrate it on Valentine's Day, probably not a good sign.
Yeah.
Here's a question for you guys. So you have the roster. Obviously, like there's a main and then it goes down from there. Are you dabbling for Valentine's Day a little bit with each one? Like, are you like sending flowers for one, taking one to dinner?
No. This is what I'll say.
Well,
Their
this is
faces.
also, we should
Their
clarify
faces are
this
like-
now.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Nino and I have really never been like roster guys. Like,
Oh,
usually,
No, I wouldn't even say that. The way that I look at it is this. If I had a girlfriend, I would try to not have a roster.
Right.
Of course, that's the point. I mean, but if you're single, do you have a roster? Like if you're single,
I think anybody who's single tries to have a roster. I think if you don't have one, you wish you did. You just might not be.
really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But the way that I look at it, at least, is if I'm not dating somebody, I'm not going to go out and do all the outlandish shit that
Right.
you're going to expect if we were dating.
That's true.
Because in my eyes, if you want the nice Valentine's Day dinner, if you want the flowers, you want all that stuff, we better be dating for that. Like, I'm not
Right.
just going to, you know, like I'll entertain, whoever I'm talking to at the time, but I'm not going to go out of my way to do relationship stuff if we're not in one.
Right.
yeah, okay. So do's and don'ts. That's a perfect segue. Do's and don'ts for Valentine's Day. Give us your lukewarm takes.
For guys?
Yeah, for guy. One of you do guys, one of you do girls, because I know you'll both have a reaction to each other.
All right. Well, obviously, guys do get her flowers. They could be the most dead, ugliest color, whatever
No.
it is. They're hanging on by a thread. Get the flowers. They cost less than a shot at the bar. Like, you know what I mean? Do it. I don't care. Ask her, don't ask her. Just bring them to the door. Let's see.
I got a good one for guys.
Don't send a text. And don't do that.
I had like the golden rule.
Go for guys.
Don't think your dick is a gift. I promise you, that's not a good Valentine's Day
That's
present.
awful
You can't put a bow
clip.
on it. It's not.
Yeah.
Like, there's no.
Agreed.
100%
As
that's
well
in
as
the
I want that. I want it to be the case. I wish I was like, I put it in a box.
Unfortunately,
You get a
I still
box?
can show up with a bracelet.
Exactly. Yeah, you better. You can put a bow on it, but you better have a fucking Cartier bracelet waiting for it. You know what I mean? Like you can't.
Yep.
I
Yes.
don't know. I think that's a big one that a lot of guys mess up on, especially.
Well, no, here's the take, though. I feel like this sounds kind of messed up. I feel like a lot of girls think that, like, oh, I don't need to do anything for Valentine's Day.
They don't.
I
They don't.
know.
They don't honestly.
I have to tell you, look, it's a full day for both people. Both you can celebrate it. It's not just
Always.
you
Yeah.
can't have the guy be doing all this
Yeah.
stuff, and the girl just think, oh yeah, I'll just show up to dinner.
I can think of some very not PG gifts.
Yeah,
That
sure.
You know what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah, boys are easy. You just
yeah, boys are
a
very
gluck,
easy.
gluck in a hot dress. A gluck
Exactly.
in a hot
That's
dress.
all
I
it
like
is.
to give something. Like I usually do a card and then like I give a gift. Like
I think a card's nice.
Something
I think
small.
something sentimental, something
Yeah.
small, like a little trinket or just something that's maybe an inside joke between you guys. That's always going to be appreciated.
Right.
But like you guys said, for the most part, guys are really simple, at least from our experience.
yeah.
Yeah. Underrated or overrated? Asking the person to be your Valentine, even when you're dating.
Oh, underrated. You got to do it.
Yeah.
Common mistakes boys make on Valentine's Day that can be avoided.
Circling back to my previous answer, your dick's not a gift. That's
I would say a common mistake is not asking formally. Like, hey, will you be my Valentine?
Yeah.
Like, you will hear about it at some point. If you don't make an official ask, you're going to hear about it.
This is also very true. I think another one that people forget is, like Cam said before, it's not about the money, but not underdoing it. Like, you should put a lot of effort into the celebration.
You got to do something.
Yeah.
Necessarily mean that you're spending $1 million just to take them out to eat or cook for them, or you know what I mean? So I
It could quite literally be like you show up. You know, we live in Florida, right? You can literally be like, okay, you show up to the beach, you lay down a blanket, and you have a light. You know, you have like a little candy.
Picnic?
That's all you need.
Yeah.
Girls
You need to do something.
love a picnic.
Yeah.
Every
100%
plan.
situation I've ever been in with a girl, they're like, I love picnic. And that's just
So underrated.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, for sure.
What about icks related to Valentine's Day?
Icks that girls do
Yeah.
for Valentine's Day. Give it to us.
Things
Because
that
I
make
know
you-
that both of you have it because you just looked
Yeah.
away.
Things that
There's-
make you cringe, like you're like,
There's too many.
I have one.
damn,
I
okay.
have one that bothers me.
Go ahead.
Well, give us a few.
Go ahead.
I think it just not being appreciative of what
Yeah.
the other person's doing, like the gesture that they're making. Like I said, you don't have to spend $1 million, but if somebody's putting in a lot of effort to figure out, you know, the plan for the night, to go do this and that, and then the reaction is like, "This is it."
That's
Or,
it. Yeah.
oh, my flowers were this kind instead of like that would right. This look.
It's like, like, oh, it's like you give me a gift. It's like it's not designer. Like, like that. I can't
No.
stand that.
I wouldn't be in a relationship with somebody like that.
No.
Oh, yeah.
You're not like that. I just have to give this story really quick. The worst, I was dating someone, you know what I'm talking about, off and on for like a long time. And this man literally handed me a grocery store bag of Russell Stover's chocolate.
Sure.
And that was it. Literally, and we'd been together for like a long time. So that was the only time that I was like, this is it.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? You couldn't just send flowers to my work. Like you couldn't plan something. Like that was the only time I would say this is it. And to this
I
day,
think that's fair. I think that's fair.
hey, my sister still refers to him as Russell Stover.
Oh God.
All girls have nicknames for boys.
I have a
All
weird
girls.
take on something that I like hate. It's like a massive it. And so a lot of people aren't going to agree with me on this one, but I'm okay with that. If I do something and like above and beyond, and I'm like, I really pull out all the stops, and it's like, we're like any guy or any girl, like if you really go all out, you do something very sentimental, meaningful, like take care of them, do something nice, and like they don't make it like known they're appreciative of it. Do you know what I mean? I saw that.
Yeah. You want-
I think like
Recognition.
absolutely. It's like, okay, if I take you out to a restaurant, like a nice restaurant for dinner on Valentine's Day, it's like, yeah, you should post it, tag it. You know, maybe like, hey, like, you know,
Leave
thank
it
you for
alone,
taking me
so-
out. Or like after the dinner, like you should be like I'm not just, hey, you know, thanks for taking care of it. You know, like you should be like, hey, I really appreciate it. Like give a little spiel or whatever. I feel like a lot of times it's like I see this all the time with our like guy friends, like their girlfriends, where it's like they'll do something so nice. And the girlfriend at the end of the night would just be like, thanks, have a good night. Like, that's it.
Mm-mm.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, I would literally be like, okay, I'm never taking you out again.
Take you out again. The other thing that I think of is, I get it, Valentine's Day is a stressful time. It's a holiday. There's a lot of emotions attached to it. But I don't like the people that immediately just argue for any reason. And I've had this happen. Like just try to
that's
start
drama.
arguments.
Yeah,
just drama for no reason, especially around Valentine's Day. I always see this. And it happens a lot with birthdays too. And I get it, it's your day, but like I see it with Valentine's Day a lot where people just like, I don't know, they want to find any reason to argue. For no
That's
reason.
Oh, it's stressful.
And I don't, I just,
Well,
that's another
who you
huge area.
dating? Yeah, let us help you.
Not great people, in all honesty. Maybe my taste is terrible. I don't know.
Oh my goodness gracious.
So what icks do you guys have for guys?
You know, as a woman, want to get like your body ready. There's a lot of like prep that goes
Yeah.
into big nights for your boy, you know? And
I know this. I
Oh,
had
are
a
you
feeling,
kidding?
but I didn't know this.
oh my God. Oh, a Brazilian. We got
all the
you
things.
got to get your lashes done, like nails, like.
I'll say this: the last person I just dated, who I'm not gonna trash him, but the last few times I had to make the reservation. Also, he was in
that gives me the ick too.
he was in the industry, like bar management, whatever. So he hated Valentine's Day because he worked it so many times. He'd see all the couples, he'd see people fighting. So I didn't mind if we did it on the 13th or the 15th. I literally didn't care. I would make a joke. Haha, I'm the side piece. I was not. But he literally hated it because he'd worked so much like on those days. And the last year, I remember him being like, oh, you really want to do this again? And I'm like, I don't care what day we go out. Like, I have a red dress. Like, I want to put on my tights with the hearts on them. Like,
you can see now why they broke up.
And like, I just remember I was like, well, I can make a reservation if it's going to be a problem.
This is something I got to say. And I've noticed this a lot with girls, and I've never understood this. I think this is a big communication barrier that I don't think a lot of people understand. Like you guys just said, in terms of reservation stuff, you go, oh my God, that's such an ick if if I have to make a reservation, if the guy isn't making a reservation, isn't asking me on dates, isn't doing all this, right? And I understand that. But I think something that a lot of girls, there's a miscommunication barrier is, look, guys want to feel wanted too. The biggest thing you got to keep in mind is if the guy is always initiating everything, where like, don't get me wrong, it's like most of the time, should he be doing that? Absolutely. But if I'm always the one asking to hang out, if I'm always the one asking to do something, if I'm always the one asking, let's do this, let's do that, initiating every single thing all the time, over a period of time, guys are going to start to get, let down in a sense where they're thinking like, okay, if we were hanging out, if I wasn't the one initiating this right now, then it's like, would anything even happen? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, does she even want to hang out with me? Does she even want to be with me?
I agree with that.
Sure.
I think that's something a lot of girls don't understand. They're like, oh, well, a guy should take charge and the guy should always be making the plans. And yeah, of course, that's how it should be. But I think every once in a while, I think you got to also show where it's like, you should be the one kind of taking it. Should be like, hey, I want to see you that bad. Yeah. I made these plans. I want to see you that bad. I'm doing this. Yeah, that's something that
I agree.
You know what I mean?
I just think on Valentine's Day is the one day a year because I love to cook. I'm a hopeless romantic. I love all of those things. And I think Valentine's Day is like, you get the dinner, I'll get the dessert. If you know what I mean.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Like that whole thing. I definitely will say I have been asked out for Valentine's Day in a bunch of fun and crazy ways. Some of the best things I've done are definitely super chill. Mm-hmm. I don't have to leave the house. I can get tasty with my man at home and we can do some silly shit,
Role play.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Yeah. I look at hands like, sure.
It's Valentine's Day. I feel like that's the one day of the year where it's really acceptable.
The role play?
I have a lot of costumes, so wig.
Morgan's a freak, dude. Morgan is such a freak.
Right. I just get each other at the bar, act like I've met before, pick them up.
Yeah, I would totally do that.
Like you just presented that instead of saying shit. There was no thought I went into that. That's
I love that.
Like at 4 Christmases, he's like, I don't care that you're from Connecticut or those shit earrings. Okay. Oh. So have you guys, with the onslaught of like notoriety from lukewarm takes, have you seen it hurt you trying to get girls? Have girls ever been like, oh, I've seen your hot take on this or whatever, and been like, oh, Nino's yes.
Poor Nino.
Poor Nino.
It's a good question.
Like that, we go first. I'll finish it out. Yeah.
Nina is very adamant about this.
Yeah.
It definitely hurts more than anything else. I think the biggest thing, we always have problems with is it's just people with good intentions. Mm-hmm. That it's like, a lot of times it's like, they're not really, they're not really into you. They're kind of into like whatever you got going on. Mm-hmm. That's a big issue. And then also you got to think about it where it's like, unfortunately, this is something that, I've struggled with in the past is we put out pretty much all of our like
dirty laundry
thoughts on the internet, which like the problem is this, but in this way where it's like, I basically have described, if you really look back in our videos, I've described my perfect type of woman to a T in terms of like what I like, what I don't like, what I think's attractive, what I don't think's attractive, things I want said to me, things how I want them to act. So the problem is putting all that out there. It's not it's not as crazy as you think for someone to watch all those videos and be like, okay, I can act like that. And then you think, like you meet them for the first time, you're like, oh my God, like, they checked every box. This is crazy, blah, blah, blah. And then you find out a couple months later, you're like, wait,
they put 9%.
You're like, oh, that was front.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, that happened in the first season of the pod. Was about, I was in this like narcissistic abusive relationship, and I had never been in a relationship that before. And narcissism and relationships, they're con artists. They like love bomb you, and you're like, oh, I'm pretty, I deserve love like that, and then whatever. But dating, people will be like, oh, you have a podcast, like I want to go listen to it. I'm like, just skip the whole first season. Just like fast forward through the whole first season, please. Sure. And then I think too, being in the NFL, doing pageants, being a public figure, it's hard. It's harder to date, but to do this, you have to give people, they want more of you. Yeah. So it's like, how do you, like, even at the Super Bowl, right? People want to know who I was with, whose plane I was on, all this stuff.
The amount of texts I got. Yeah. Where is she? Who's she with?
And literally now I'm just like, you got to pay to play. You want to be nosy? Pay for my subscription channel then. Yep. You know what I mean? It's hard. It's so hard. How long do you think it takes while dating someone for them to show who they really are?
Typically, I've always said about a month and a half.
I think longer. I'd go 3 to 6. I think people can put up a front a lot longer than you think. And
I want to add a caveat. And the reason that I gave the answer that I did is the way that I look at it is everybody's different. I'm very good at picking people apart quickly.
Scorpio.
I'll be able to, I can psychoanalyze you realistically within the first week of us talking. Yeah. If you're full of shit.
That's me, yeah.
Or if you're genuine.
I dated someone, well, we were together for 3.5 years. And for the first year, I think he was trying to be what I wanted. And then I feel like after the first year, I really knew, but I stayed because I'm a stayer. Right. And, I always think people can work and change. And like, then it just got to the point where he's like, I can't make you happy. And I'm like, well, I probably should have known that. But, but I don't know. I mean, I feel like you and I are very like, what you see is what you get. And
yeah, well, we have to be.
And I feel like I've dated people that want to like match my expectations and they realize they can't. You should have just told me that in the beginning.
So at what point do you put on yourself though? Like, do you blame yourself, or you're like, okay, like I knew that.
I know. I mean, I should have left a long time ago.
Yeah. That's fair. I think
but
that's
I'm
a big
also,
thing.
I don't know. I love love. I stay in jobs longer than I should. I stay in places longer than I should. I mean, I know that's me. I can take it.
Like, we're the opposite. I'll give you one chance to make it right, and then I'm like, bye.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, we can work on it. We can.
I was for a long time. I was very much the like, I'll stay longer than I should. I'll give you more opportunities than I should. And then I had like one too many situations where it just, I call it like the hot grill theory, where it's like, I just intentionally knew I was going to burn myself. Yeah. And I still did it. And it got to the point where I was like, so we made a video on it, but I'll briefly explain it. When I was a kid, my family was like grilling, and I don't remember, like we finished grilling, and I remember standing next to the grill. I could feel the fucking heat coming off of this grill. And I was like, I want to touch it. Yeah.
How old were you?
Maybe like 7 or 8. But I knew it was hot. That was the problem. I knew the grill was hot. And my mom even turns to me and she goes, don't touch the fucking grill. You're going to burn the shit out of your head. Don't touch the grill. And I went, I'm going to touch it. Hand out the grill. Burnt the hell out of myself. But that's like, I got to the point where I said, all right, I need to stop like inflicting self-harm. And I think that is that is an appropriate term. I think it is self-harm at a certain point when you recognize that you're putting yourself into a position or a situation where you know the outcome is going to lead to something that's really going to hurt you in the long term, and you intentionally still follow through with it.
No, I would agree with that. I will say, though, my only other caveat to that, though, is sometimes I get in the mood for bad. So I'll meet people and I'm like, oh, you're going to be a fun mistake. You're going to be one of my favorite mistakes. I definitely, that was like, that was more in like my 20s, but sometimes you just get in the mood for like negligence.
And there's nothing wrong with that as long as you understand what the outcome is.
Right. As you go into it being like, this is going to be a travesty. Okay. Best gift a girl's ever given you on Valentine's Day. Worst gift a girl's ever given you on Valentine's Day. And it can be sexual. So
that's the problem. I'm not a PG guy. But I feel like I can't give my real ansers here.
Yes, you can. I mean, this is why we brought you on the show.
The PG-13 answer. I can give the PG-13
Someone gave me their butt for Valentine's Day.
The way that I'll rationalize the worst gift was an argument. That was the worst gift.
Argument?
It was like everything was going really well. I remember, and it was more or less like Valentine's Day. It was celebrated in the same like time frame. And I vividly remember, actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, I did celebrate Valentine's Day. I think my freshman or sophomore year. But regardless.
You in flashbacks?
Yeah, I know. Damn. Literally, I haven't thought about this shit. I'm like digging up shit from my past.
Dude, I come out, I start getting mad.
I start fuming, like my face gets in shit. But I vividly remember one year went really well. The next year, everything was going really well. And then it seemingly, this person just started an argument out of nowhere and it completely ruined the rest of the night. And like everything else that was planned. And I'm now that I just remember that actually just pissed me off thinking about it. Because I remember being so upset at the time because I put a lot of effort and a lot of thought into all the shit that I set up. And then it all just immediately, I watched it like shrivel away.
What was the argument about?
Literally the most insignificant thing. Like, I don't even remember. That's how stupid.
Oh, that's how it always is.
All right, Cam, your turn.
Oh, God. You know what is actually very unfortunate, but I really don't think I've ever, like, gotten anything.
What?
Oh, we're going to say.
But that's not true. You just don't, you can't, I think in your mind, you can't say.
It's not an item.
Yeah, it's not exactly an item. Sure.
I'm sorry, I don't count that as like a gift. In my opinion, I don't count that as like a gift for it.
Neither do I. I feel like not that it's expected, but it's also like, I feel like my thing has always been this. Sexual stuff is great, right? But when you hype up a sexual experience,
God,
please, I don't want you, please.
No, wait, sorry, it wasn't sexual. No, hit it. This is the worst gift ever, actually. I'll never forget this. There was this girl I was dating. It was, in college, right? There was a girl dating. And so I'm huge into, I love stand-up comedy. I love comedians, blah, blah, blah. My favorite comedian, his name's Joey Diaz. I don't know if you guys know who it is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Favorite comedian. Like, I love all this stuff. I watch all his podcasts. Like, I love hearing him talk, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, I've always made it clear to this girl, like, how much I love Joey Diaz. I was like, oh my God, I want to see him perform one day. Like, he doesn't really do that.
Tickets would be great.
What?
Right. Tickets would be great.
Yeah. I was like,
if
he doesn't stand that much money, blah, blah, blah. This girl hyped up this gift for probably a month straight. Because my birthday is the 7th. Valentine's is 14th. Right. This girl, I swear to God, a month straight with like, you're going to love this gift. I knocked it out of the park. Like, blah, blah, blah. I asked your brother. Like, I asked everybody, you're going to love it. You're going to love it. Long story short, like, she basically hints, she was like, yeah, I'm getting you Joey Diaz tickets. Never got me the fucking tickets. Like, never even gave me a gift.
What?
It was literally, I don't know what the fuck happened.
What?
It was literally, she hyped up for like a month. And I think like maybe we got in an argument or something. And long story short, I just never even got the gift.
Yep.
Oh.
And I remember hearing about this. That was not a nice conversation. He did not have a lot of nice things to say.
No, because I was like,
I'd be mad. I'd be pissed. That's valid.
The other thing I think about this too is like, not even in personal experience, but don't like hype up a gift
100%.
And it doesn't even matter. Like, just don't hype it up.
Yeah.
Just that's what I'm talking about. Don't talk about it at all. Because you either way over exceed expectations, which in my opinion is what you should do, and just don't talk about the gift. Sure. But when you hype it up, if it doesn't meet the expectation of the hype that you brought, it's gonna ruin like the whole experience of giving a gift in the first.
Also, for like guys or girls, like anyone listening to this, and you're thinking about getting someone a gift, I promise you, you will look like so much more of a better partner if you don't hype it up at all, and you don't speak about it, you don't say a word, and then you just knock their fucking socks off with their gift. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it makes you look so much better when you're just like, oh yeah, I thought you'd like it. Yeah. It's like, you killed it, but like tell them
Right. Like a surprise.
I'm an over gifter.
You are an over gifter.
I'm an over gifter.
Same.
Yeah. For my ex's 35th birthday, I took him all expenses paid to Dubai for 2 weeks.
That's so fucking awesome. That is the coolest gift of all time.
Loves Dubai.
Wow.
I mean, and people ask me, oh, do you regret it? Whatever. No, I went to Dubai for 2 weeks. It was cool. Yeah. I also am notorious for giving. You can almost see when I'm going to break up with you because I almost give you like a parting gift. Like I've bought so many,
you're one of those.
I bought so many watches and then it's like his birthday. I feel guilty. I know I'm going to break up with him in like 3 weeks. And I'm like, here's a Roadster. Sorry.
I don't do that.
No, wait, I have a question. Do girls really plan out their breakups that
1,000%. 1,000%. Wow. Girls will talk to their friends. Here's the thing that guys don't get. Girls will stay in it. Females are notorious for staying in things longer than they should. Yeah. Because if you're in your feminine energy, you're hopeful, right? Like being soft and hopeful is a feminine thing. Yeah. So by the time a girl breaks up, she's out. Like she's been out. She's been emotionally out of it. And I would say 3 weeks is usually like 2 to 3 weeks. Girls plan and they talk to all their friends and they're like, I'm doing it Friday. Right now, from a girl's perspective, sign she's going to break up with you. She is no longer doing the little things that she usually would do, right?
Yeah.
So
What's an example of that?
Oh, I already know.
So I love to make dinner, right? Like I'm going to stop making you dinner. I'm going to stop because now the dishes are going to annoy me. Little things like that. Or, you usually have morning sex. She starts to make excuses and tired as to why. Any sexual difference, if she's not on her period, is definitely a sign you're in the shitter.
Yeah.
I would say too, like her friends stop liking all your stuff on Instagram because guess what? Literally, she's already talked about it with the group and they're like, fuck that guy.
Wow.
Dude, this is adding some fucking information.
You know what's crazy? Yeah. That's how I knew my last relationship. That's how I knew something, not she was going to break up. That's how I knew something was going on. Because like she was like, entertaining other people or whatever. And I'll never forget, she like, we would always send like the whole good morning, good night text or whatever.
Yeah,
and I remember it's like, I would like wake up, it was like summer or whatever. So I'd wake up late at like 11 and I'd be like, hey, good morning, I just woke up. And she'd be like, oh, I've been running errands, whatever I'm at. But she always used to text me right as soon as she woke up. And whenever that happened, I was like, wait. And another one was like when they start posting a lot on social media, like a lot more.
Increased frequency.
And it's like different type of content.
And they're like increasingly sexy. Like they're doing thirst traps.
Like, it's almost like you're putting yourself back on the market.
I'll say this for me, in my most recent situation, I had a foot out the door for a year and a half.
Really?
And when I had conversations with him about, hey, we need to work on X, Y, and Z. Not once, not twice, but like 3 times. And said person kept saying they were going to do these things.
Yeah.
And then when they didn't do them, this last time it was just like, I can't make you happy. And I'm like, but we've been talking about this for over a year. So
I think that's just another goop.
But I also started like, I feel like for me, it's like if I start doing things with my friends more and like not with you, like that's a sign because he did bring that up.
Dude,
you were never around. And I'm like, you did.
Dude, I can't make you happy.
That's what the whole that's how I'm now single. Because after multiple times of me saying, hey, we need to work on X, Y, and Z. I love you. I want to stay with you. I want to do this. And then finally which was it was an argument over something so dumb
Yeah.
that had nothing to do with us. And then it finally was like, I can't make you happy. So, and I'm like, oh, you're trying to end this? No, it was me.
I mean, no, we have to tell the boys so that they can get context. He didn't have sex with her for 10 months.
Why?
That was
Attraction was
my
gone.
Cam, that was my whole
I'll tell
thing.
you why. The attraction is gone.
So he just wasn't attracted.
First of all, that's a lie. Look at me.
No, not even that. I'll explain this to you because
Yeah,
this
look
actually
about it.
happened in my last serious relationship.
Which also, I totally get what you're saying, and I would ask him that. I would be like, if you just aren't attracted to me, cool. If there's somebody else, cool.
What was his reason?
Like,
He didn't have one, dude.
man,
He
it's
did have one. He didn't
please.
want to tell you. And I'm telling you, a guy's perspective. It's not
Yeah.
that you're not attractive. You're very pretty. But in his mind, after being with you for a certain amount of time, the attraction just fell off. The scent, like in the Wolf of Wall
Yeah.
Street, Jordan talks about that with his dad. He's like, the scent is gone. Like there's that magic just stops being there.
I also think he is like intimidated, and the whole I can't, like him putting on this facade of who he wanted to be with me. I also think he just couldn't match like level.
And I think the
And
other
that's
thing
fine.
is, you put yourself in a very dangerous situation when you stop being intimate with somebody.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Because you start resenting the person because you're like, I don't find you attractive, but you're not getting intimate, so
How do you?
that's just
Why-
making it worse. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like
Exactly.
you're hurting yourself by doing the thing that you think is gonna make a difference.
A lot of guys don't talk about this, but how do you guys feel about when you lose an attraction for a girl? A lot of that can also be mental, right? She can be a bombshell, but if you feel underappreciated, you're going to feel some type of way, right? Talk about that.
So I think this is a big thing. I always talk about, and it's what I said earlier, where it's like guys want to feel wanted too.
Sure.
And one of
That's why I
those
meant
things-
cheat.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, look, if you're not, and I don't know how you guys feel about this. In my personal, like the way I think about it, I think in every relationship, and not a lot of people agree with me. I think I should look at you as like this like glorious thing. It's like you're just like, so perfect, blah, blah, blah. And you should look at me as like, oh my God, like look at you, like perfect,
Yes.
blah, blah, blah. I think you should both be obsessed with each other. And the
Yeah, I
problem
agree completely.
is whenever you don't feel that way, it's like that, like your partner doesn't feel like what I mean, like they're not as obsessed as they used to be, or it's like they don't feel the same way anymore, blah, blah, blah. Once they start feeling that out of you and they're not getting what they need, they're not getting what they used to get, that's when you see people start to look elsewhere, whether it be posting on social media, whether it be seeking another partner, whether it be, talking, being disrespectful, whatever, like increasing fights and all that stuff. When your partner doesn't feel love, that attraction anymore, that's when they're going to seek it out somewhere else, is some other avenue.
100%.
And that's such an issue. Oh, it's just, it makes me so sad. It's like, yeah, you're absolutely right.
That's also where like communication comes in.
Right.
Like one person could be doing like talking, like giving their whole heart and like talking about their hopes and dreams and fears and this and that. And if the other person says nothing, I'm not talking from personal experience or anything. It's just like, you're not a mind reader. Like, I feel like relationships are like, they are work. Like you have to work at them. And I think a lot of times this could be a man or a woman. There's always one person that's willing to do the work.
Yeah.
And there's another person that maybe they don't know how to do the work. They don't know how to talk about it. Like, I also think your mental health has like a lot to do with that as well.
Let's get off of like relationship therapy because it was supposed to be Valentine's Day.
I want to ask one more question,
I
please,
didn't bring
because
this
I
up.
want to know your opinions on this.
Yeah.
I've always said this is my golden rule as far as relationships go.
Good.
I've always said once the trust is broken in a relationship, it's gone forever. You
It's
will
like
never get it back.
toothpaste in the tube. You can't put it back in.
100% agree.
Do you guys fully agree with that? Like once the trust is
100%.
gone, once it's broken, it is virtually impossible to get it back in any capacity.
I agree with you completely. I've seen it in the social circles that I grew up in where they've been together forever. There's so much money at stake. And one of them the husband steps out and the wife stays. And for a magnitude of reasons. And they always try to get back to that point. If you don't want to be in this and you want to go sleep with somebody else, just break up with me.
Right.
Like,
I've always said that too. I've
You
always
know,
said that.
Have a conversation.
just do the thing. It's
do
not
the hard thing.
Yeah, it's not that big of a deal. I have more respect for you if you come
Yeah.
to me than if you
Yeah.
don't,
I completely agree.
But I think once the trust is gone,
It's really hard.
because once you break that barrier, let's not even say cheating, even with words, you pop off and you're make a comment about like your girl's weight or whatever, that's gonna ninja in the back of her mind.
Oh, yeah.
I just think like relationships are all about like teamwork
Yeah.
and then compassion for each other. Compassion and respect, I think, are a big thing. And I think when you have compassion and respect for your partner, everything else flows. The dates, the sex, the fun, the adventure. Once the trust is gone, like, fuck right off. Like,
I would
you
agree.
know.
I would completely
Okay.
agree. I say it all the time.
Back to Valentine's Day, and then
Yeah,
we'll
I
wrap it up.
We'll wrap it.
Okay, overrated or underrated candlelit dinners
Underrated.
on Valentine's Day specifically?
Underrated. Yeah, sweet.
I think I'm urged to say overrated because I think that is the cliche as far as what you're expecting on Valentine's Day. But by that same token, I think if something is the standard, it's that way for a reason.
This is what I thought. The bar is so fucking low nowadays in terms
True.
of relationship. You
God.
should be thanking your lucky stars if you have anyone that's like, hey, I would love to sit down and have a nice meal with you.
Yeah, agreed.
It's not a fucking 3 AM text. It's not a, hey, let's go get drunk at a bar. It's like, hey,
Not
I want to have a sober
McDonald's.
conversation with you.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree. Proposing on Valentine's Day, overrated, underrated?
I don't like it. I feel like you're trying
Overrated.
to combine holidays. You're trying to
Yeah.
combine your anniversary and
Wait,
Valentine's.
there's an ick.
I don't like
There's an
agree.
ick for me. Yeah.
I would agree. I think there's a million better dates that you can propose. I think the day that you propose your anniversary is always going to be a very special thing in your relationship. I think that's a
100%.
sacred aspect of every relationship.
Yeah.
And I think by merging it into 2 holidays, you're taking away another like important date in your relationship.
Yeah.
And I think that's
agree.
never going to be good.
Right.
Yeah.
I also think too, and I say this, and I feel like a lot of men don't think about this, but I had one of those daddies that was like the best. Literally would start my car in the morning, clean it off, buy me Tiffany's, buy me roses. And his whole thing was, I'm setting the standard for your view on how men should treat you.
Right.
And I feel like, you know, and guys don't think about this, or maybe they do, you guys can weigh in, but when you go to propose, when you do Valentine's Days, if you have a daughter, mommy's going to tell her about how romantic this is. And you're the precipice for her thought process on relationships. Now, you guys are younger than us. You know, we're dating with intention to marry, right? In our 20s, we had fun.
He doesn't agree with this, by the way. I'm very happy you just said that because he says all the time, he's like, why would you date somebody if you're not intending on marrying them? I'm 20 fucking years old.
I'm sorry.
I'm not looking to get married right now.
No.
I would wait till
you're
you're over 30.
Something with you seriously, unless I thought I could see you walking.
I think it's the most outrageous. I think it's the most outrageous.
I think it's a great answer, but I think a lot of people your age don't do
I
that.
think dating in your 20s should be like, shoot,
Fun.
you try them on and you've got to find the pair that fit the best. And how
I like it.
Say it all the time.
But
I
babe,
always say
here's
that same thing.
The problem
But
is this.
Cam, here's why. And I'm 37. Okay. I'm 37. So now at 37, I know exactly what I like and don't like. I know exactly what I want and don't want. And I've been proposed to 3 times. Also, too, in my 20s, I focused on my career and all of that stuff. And I dated with the intent of we'd be together, but I wasn't looking at these men as this is going to be my husband. And it's probably honestly what I got proposed to because guys love girls that like have their own thing going on. But like, you have to, I always say you have to kiss a lot of frogs to find a prince or a princess.
Perfectly said.
Because listen, you could find a girl, you guys are young, you could find her right now. She could be great in her 20s. She could look like Shrek in her 30s. Because maybe she doesn't care about taking care of herself and it just comes naturally, but you don't see it because she's in her 20s.
The male brain does not fully develop until 26. How the fuck do you think you're going to make a decision to be with somebody for the rest of your life? You don't even know how your brain is going to function in 3 years.
No, this is the issue. This is what guys do, and it literally disgusts me. I'll never understand. And this, no, because you have this fucking same thought process. It blows my mind.
No.
Every guy thinks, oh, I just want to hoe around and I want to, do as much as I can. No, it's like, yeah,
But it's not, it's not going around.
No, it's not. I'm not. That's what I'm saying. Buddy, to hoe around.
Hey, this would no. All right, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying majority of guys, what do? They literally play the fuckboy lifestyle until they're fucking 28 years old. And then when they're finally starting to make some money, they're like, okay, now
baby, 35.
Yeah,
35.
So they're 35. Okay. And then 35 comes around. And then look, I hate to tell you, the 35-year-old women, like girls your age, they're not really looking for what some overplayed fuckboy that's been in the clubs for the past 10 years.
1,000.
So then what does the 35-year-old man do? He goes get some fucking 22-year-old out of a club. Like that marriage is going to work out. Like it literally drives me fucking insane that all these guys that have this thought process like, oh, I have so much time. It's like, brother, you have to find somebody. I never look at it in terms of relationships of like, what does this person have? What does this person have? I look at it as, what do you want to build with me? And what do I want to build with you?
Oh, God. Where were you?
That's how it should. How no one looks at it that way.
How are you going to know that you're ready to marry somebody or willing to marry somebody within a year?
Because
you're the biggest, fucking person to always be like, I think love is immediate. I think it is. And
I will agree with that.
How this person is going to
wait, I will agree. I agree with like anyone that I have allowed to wife me up. It has been almost instantaneous. Right. I was like, I'm going to be in love with this person.
Fair. You find out the rest later, but you know immediately. You find out the details later, but
babe, when you're 20, now at 37, we have careers. I own a house.
Right.
I have big girl bills. In your 20s, you don't know how you're going to handle that with a girl. You're both renting. You know how she feels about her 401k because she probably just started one or doesn't have one. Her body, too, is going to change. You don't know how she's going to handle that because hormones are a thing. She might get less horny. Older women are always more horny, but that's for a story for a different time.
I am learning a lot from them, to be honest.
But it's one of those things where I say, if you're in your 20s and you meet someone and you're like, this is my dream girl and we get along and she's my best friend and the sex is great and we have adventure and she listens to me and I feel seen and I want to lay down the world for this girl, I would say stay in it. But if she gives you an ultimatum, your person will never give you an ultimatum. Your person will never do that. You know what I mean? So she'll stay in it with you. And me, I hit 30. I was like, oh, fuck, I need to get married. Because for girls, it's different. Like, we actually are on a clock if you want to have kids, quite frankly. Did you know at 35, that's considered a geriatric pregnancy? That's literally what they call it, a geriatric pregnancy.
Let's get back to Valentine's.
But it's one of those things where like guys at 35 are fuckboys later because they have a choice to eat. They can be with older women or women their age, but they can also go date somebody who's 30 who doesn't have fertility stuff or whatever. So it's like different. But, I agree with you. Boys, go on. You're too good looking.
Don't get married till after 30. Don't get married till after 30.
Build your bag, build your empire, and then fucking at 30, you'll have, it'll be a buffet.
I agree. I agree. Is because why would I want somebody who finds me after I've already built everything? That's the issue.
But let me tell you, and this is just this. Are your parents still married?
Yeah.
Okay, that's why.
So are mine.
So it's one of those things where my mom did it with my dad. My mom was with my dad for years. They built an empire together. She literally was there for him working 15-hour days and creating this massive company. Just because they're building with you now doesn't mean that they're going to screw with you later.
That's fair. That's fair.
You know, one thing that I wanted to bring up that I was just thinking about, I think it's becoming more and more prevalent, and I don't think enough people talk about it now, is girls going on birth control. A guy falling in love with the girl after or before she starts taking birth control. And then her hormones change, and she completely
that's a real thing because it messes with your hormones.
Yeah, different person. And that
that's a real thing.
I think that happened to me in my last relationship, to no fault of the other person. But it's like, I think that's a very scary reality that a lot of people don't think about. I just don't think a lot of people know. You know what I mean? Like to even think about it that way.
So there's a million different ways to take birth control. We'll have girlfriends be like, I'm getting off the shot. It's made me nuts. you know, or
There's also people who've had kids and like their whole personality changes.
yeah, they just become a different.
It's a no for me, dog.
Final overrated or underrated, chocolates and teddy bears as a gift for Valentine's Day.
Overrated as fuck.
Overrated.
Get
Okay.
I like the teddy bear.
Couple selfies.
Ew.
Nah.
Not selfies, but like pictures together. I think are great. We talk about that.
What do you mean? You mean like I hold
Right.
my phone, we're at dinner like that? No.
Yeah.
I hate that. I think that's foul.
That's foul.
He wants the recognition. He doesn't want his face.
Yeah, Mr. I'm dating with intention. I'm ready for all this. I don't want a couple selfie. Make it make
I'm
sense.
like this.
Yeah.
I like a picture. Or like I want some like professional camera.
Yeah, like Polaroid photos.
Yeah.
Like
Now
something
we're
like that.
talking.
What?
That's good. We're all about that.
Matching outfits for Valentine's Day. Like, or colors or sneakers.
Yeah, it's so lame. No, colors doesn't bother me. If we both go out in
I
all
like the
black and we're looking
colors.
slick as hell, I'm all about
Yeah.
it.
I like the
If you wear
colors.
that track.
Yeah, dude.
Like the Dunkings outfit.
Wait, what about
Yeah.
what about the shirts with your significant other's face?
I hate that so much.
Remember the
I think
one
it's
that I
so
made?
cheesy and corny.
Did you? Morgan did that for her ex.
No,
Yeah.
no. Wait, did I?
Wonder why I left.
Yes.
It was for my birthday, and he wore it.
I'd be like, baby, please don't wear that.
But then
Yeah,
I
I
also
would too.
made one that has my name and pictures of me, and I wear it. So
Okay. Thank you so much, boys, for all of your lukewarm
Yeah.
takes. Thank you guys so much for coming on the I'm Bored podcast. That was lukewarm takes with Nino and Cam. They've given you a smorgasbord of things to think about, ladies. Don't lose the trust in your relationship. Make sure you appreciate him. Give him all the things, even that gluck gluck. And we will see you next Friday.
See you
Bye,
guys. So much for having us on. That was a blast.
Tell everybody like where they can follow you, where they can find you, and how they can contact you.
Even better.
You know,
You guys want to check out our channel? We are on TikTok. We are on Instagram Reels. We're on Instagram. We're on YouTube. We're on Snapchat now. We're just about any social media platform. We have to get on X. But our handle across all of them is lukewarm_takes_. And I'm pretty sure all the profile pictures are the same picture, but pretty easy to find. We're also on Cameo. If you guys ever want to get a personal opinion from us that you might not be comfortable sharing, directly to us, or, we do live streams as well. Go check us out on there. Outside of that, we're pretty much open books on social media. So,
yep.
I love it.
All right. Well, thanks, boys.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
You've just listened to the I'm Bored podcast with Ashley and Morgan.